Okay, so I'm going to try to give you my recipe for cook-up. I don't have all the stuff here with me, but I'm going to give you like a basic layout, whatnot, and so you can try it yourself. Now, some of the things that you're going to want are a full-size bag of Doritos. I mean, that's just my chip of preference. I guess you can go with any flavor you want, but just hear me out. So a full-size bag of the regular nacho cheese Doritos, and then you know, like one of the ones that cost like $2 and some change, something like that. Anyway, then you want to get one of those little cheese cups, those little jalapeno cheese dipping cups that are usually next to the chips at the gas station or whatever. You know, you want to get one of those. Not like the full glass jar ones, the little aluminum ones that are like, I don't know, that tall, like that round, whatever. And then you want to get, let's see, some different beef sticks, really, because I mean that's all you can really get when you're locked up, is just like beef sticks. You can't go all out, and well, you can't usually go out and like get like salami and, you know, rich cuts of this. Anyway, so just get like some Slim Jims, and then vary it up a little bit. Get some other beef sticks that are like a little bigger than Slim Jims, you know, because you're gonna wind up using those as like toppings, almost like a pizza, because that's essentially what you're making. It's just a little off. Okay, so a big bag of Doritos, some different sized beef sticks, your thing of cheese, and then you also want the ramen noodles. Now, the best kind to get, in my opinion, or at least what we used, or what was available to us, were the ramen cups. Not the little packages, but the cups that you just pour water, you just peel back the top a little bit, pour water, and it just, you know, whatever level, and then microwave it. But in this case, we're gonna cook it differently, as was stated in one of the comments above mine, right? So you take the cup, and if you can do it carefully enough, you can just squeeze the cup around the edges, and to break up the noodles, because you're gonna want to bust them all up. Not like powdery and shit, but just break them up. You know, pretty good. Otherwise, you can just take it out and put it in a bag or whatever means necessary just to break up this ramen noodle. Also, those cups usually come with little dehydrated veggies inside too, so it's up to you whether or not you want to leave those in there. I don't think it makes a huge difference, but I know a lot of guys would usually dump out the veggies. So anyway, so for this recipe, we're gonna use like, well, 3 to 4 cups. It really just depends. We'll say 3 to 4 of the cheap little ramen cups, and we're gonna break them all up. And then once we've got that done, then we're gonna move over to our chips. Right now, for this recipe, I don't have a full-size bag, but I do have this little smaller bag of Fritos to use as an example. All right, and I'm also recording this, you know, with one hand, so you gotta bear with me here. But what you want to do is I'll do this. Take this, open the bag up, and then the next thing you're gonna do is you're gonna, well, I'm trying to think, what should you do first? Yeah, if it's a full-size bag of chips, let me think. How would you want to do it? Yeah, okay. Just want to bust it up. Pretty good. I'm probably not going to get these to the same consistency as Doritos, but you get the idea. Well, I might. And then with a full-size bag, what you do is you pour about half of them out. All right? And you want to keep those for later on, because those are actually going to become a topping later on, right? So then you got, you know, your bag that's, well, your half a bag of crunched Doritos. Again, I'm just using the Fritos bag as an example. And then you take all of your crushed ramen and you put it in the bag, right? And you just want to kind of, shake it up, mix it up real nice, whatever. And then after you've done that, then you take a cup of really hot water, like almost boiling water, because that's all that's really available to you in there. Is they have those little not oscillator, I can't remember what they're called. Not oscillators, but anyways, those little tanks that have that just hold hot water. That's it. They heat up the water, whatever. You see them used to make coffee, like large amounts of coffee as well. Well, anyways, so you take really hot water, okay, and then you pour it into the bag, and it's sort of a judgment call on how much water you want to use. You would definitely use far less water than you would if you were just cooking the noodles outright. All you only want enough water to saturate all of your stuff in the bag. Not enough to where there's a pool of water, just to make it all wet, right? That's all you want. Then once you've done that, what you do next is you take, I'm trying to think how I'm going to do this when I'm holding the phone. You take your bag, right, and just at the very top of it, you fold it over like that. And usually you want to fold it over at least twice, right? Like that. And then what you do is you take something heavy, right? And when you're behind bars, it's usually like a couple phone books, and you stack some other shit on top of that. In this case, I'm just going to use this just because it's heavy, whatever. Fold it over twice, and you want to put it over like that, right? And once you've got your heavy weight sealing off the open end, then you just take your stuff in here and you smash it all down, right? So it's all almost like you're making it like a flat cake, Smash it all down. And then once you've done that, then you take some more weight and you set it on top of that. So essentially what you're doing is you're compressing the cake, right? Or your base in this case, whatever you want to call it. You're compressing it. And then you let it sit for about like 15 minutes, somewhere in there, And then afterwards, what you do is you open it up. Now, you're going to have this hot, massive cake, or whatever you want to call it right here. But then you take it right at the corner. I'm going to set my phone down just for this. I use two hands. And on the bigger bags, it's a lot easier than this, but you take it right at the corner. That's one corner. Okay. Like I said, with the bigger bags, they tear at the corners real easily. You don't have to go through this shit of biting through it and stuff. But I'm trying to give you an example here. So, all right. So then, what you've done now is you've split the bag in half. And don't worry, the shit won't fall out or anything like that. Just because I'm using a small bag that's manufactured slightly differently. But then you have your cake. Your cake will be sitting here, right? And then that's when you just add all the toppings. You take the little cheese cup, or cup of cheese that you bought, and you just dump the whole thing on there. Again, size is important. I'm talking about the ones that are like that tall and like that round, about that, right? And you just dump the whole thing on there. And then you take your spork, is what you would use in jail, and you smooth it over like you're frosting a cake, right? Then after that, then you can go ahead and use the rest of the crunched up chips from earlier, and just spread them over it evenly, whatever. And then you take whatever meat sticks you bought and you cut them up. cut them up in like the little slices, you know. Well, I mean, they're not necessarily slices, but just little bits, you know. I mean, you can only get a Slim Jim so thin. And then you just cover it up, you know. Cover it, well, not like too bad. I mean, it all depends on what your preference is and how much you want to use. And like I said, obviously there's all different kinds of like meat sticks, you know, stuff like that. So you can use your own imagination to do that. But afterwards, as far as serving size, I would treat it like lasagna. Lasagna, although it may be taller, is still a pretty good measurement, in my opinion. Just like you were cutting lasagna. Just like a little... Oh, I don't really have anything to... I don't really have any... Well, if I were to take this pepper can, okay, you would say probably that wide, sounds about good, but then just square it. So it's like that. Because keep in mind, it's, you know, this is going to be about that thick, and lasagna is usually that thick, you know, that thick. So yeah, just take this can and square it, and that would probably be a good serving size. And even though the other guy that commented before me, he does it a little differently. I mean, everybody does it differently, but this was just the most popular way of doing it that I found while I was there. And it is, like I said, it is delicious. And you don't even really need to put it on a plate. I mean, in there, we would just put it in a cup, you know, and of course it would kind of like break up a little bit or whatever, you know, almost turning into more of like a casserole, but it's still good even then. The last time I made one, I didn't eat it all, but I put the rest in the fridge and it unwrapped and it stayed pretty fresh when I went to warm it up later on. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Hopefully that outlines everything. Feel free to ask me any other questions.